No question, the attack has served to bring a lot of people together, bring us all together as a nation, and all try to figure out what we can do to help.
Channel 3's Dennis House has been in New York since the attack yesterday, and he's joining us live with that part of our coverage tonight. Dennis?
Well, Denise and Al, good afternoon. As you know, many people from Connecticut commute into Manhattan every day. Now, today there are fewer of them because many businesses in Manhattan closed for the day, particularly those south of 14th Street. Now, many people who came here also found their offices to be closed, and they wanted to help in some way, and many of them did. Spurred by the haunting images on television and the chilling headlines, scores of people flocked to this blood center in Midtown.
I came down to the office around 8:30, got an email message that went out to everyone, I guess, yesterday afternoon, telling me that offices have been closed, did a few emails. I was going to go right back to Stamford, but decided to come down here instead. With the trains and subways up and running again, many came in from Connecticut to help in the only way they know how.
I feel compelled to come out here and wait in line and do this.
Those who came here to donate blood also unexpectedly donated much of their time. Those who waited in line waited for hours. Some even brought newspapers and books to pass the time. Others actually brought work from their office and conducted business from the sidewalk. Attorney LaVue Vogel of Weston brought his legal briefs. He says reading them helps keep his mind off the disaster that took place in Lower Manhattan. How did this morning's commute compare to every other morning?
Well, it was obviously very easy, but it was somber at the same time because there was hardly anybody there, and those that were on the train weren't really speaking, and everyone was pretty sad.
I've kind of had a hard time really digesting this, so I don't know. I'm not really thinking. It's just brutal.
Once inside, the donors were processed as quickly as possible, but the turnout was so great.
We're not taking these blood types today.
Many people with the best of intentions, like Brendan Denard of Stamford, were turned away.
I'm a little disappointed, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I came down, sat in line for an hour and a half, and now I'm basically being turned away. So, I mean, it's good that they have enough supply to be able to last, or at least help the people that need help.
We are told there are many people from Connecticut helping here in Manhattan with the World Trade Center disaster. There are firefighters from Hartford, we're told, as well as state police, troopers, and dogs. We also have some breaking news today about, we're told that there's been another collapse at the World Trade Center. The final portion, the remaining portion of the South Tower, one of the Twin Towers, has just collapsed, we're told. That was the second tower hit yesterday by the second jet, but the first to collapse altogether. This information is just happening about 20 blocks south of me, about 1 mile. So as soon as we get more information, of course, Denise and Al will get it to you. Joining me now is my colleague, Robin Walensky, who was at some of the hospitals today, dealing with some of the folks who are actually looking for their loved ones.
That's right, Dennis. I stopped by St. Vincent's Hospital, and what was going on there is that people were actually showing up with photographs of their loved ones. It was very emotional. People were breaking down in tears. It was really a traumatic scene, and I was here yesterday. It was really a mind-boggling experience to watch the towers burn and then explode and crumble. Just mind-boggling to wake up to this morning. Normally from here on 6th Avenue, looking south here on Avenue of the Americas, you could see it. They were part of the New York City skyline, 110 stories of steel and glass. But most of all, my thoughts as I watched the buildings crumble before my eyes, I thought of all the people, tens of thousands of people who worked in that building every day, for the Port Authority, for Morgan Stanley, all the workers that worked in the mall, below ground, the security people that did such a good job in the years since 1993 to beef up security in that building.
It is so disturbing. I know I was here in 1993 for the bombing of the World Trade Center back in February of '93, and we looked at that hole in the building and said, how could this have happened? We were surprised by that then, and now this.
It was sort of a free-for-all back in 1993 in the sense that the parking garage, there was no security, and there was really no security in the lobby. But since 1993, I attended many news conferences in that building, and the setup is basically that you would have to check in, you'd get your picture taken, you'd get a little patch ID, you'd have to check in again at the elevator, and there were so many steps that they took to beef up security to prevent something like this from happening again. Joining us here now with Dennis and I is a member of the American Red Cross, Jonathan Schwartz, who is with me. Jonathan, just based by the way how you look, you are still covered with a coating of dust. Can you tell our audience, if you could, what it is like down there today?
It's pretty much mayhem. I think people are mainly focused on relief efforts. I've seen an outpouring of relief efforts from everybody, from NYPD and of course firemen to even construction guys, people from New York Transit Authority, all helping out down there. I don't think anybody's really. It's not really fully registered with anybody. They're just focusing on saving people. And
I saw some American flags and some people that wrote handwritten signs in the rubble on television before I left. There's this outpouring of patriotism.
Yeah, it's a time like this when I guess everybody's got to get together and our spirit can't be broken. You know?
Thank you very much. And behind me, I'd just like to point out here with Dennis House that behind us is ladder company number 5. And earlier this afternoon, I went over there to just see what was going on. And it's quite an emotional scene because these folks from ladder company number 5 were some of the first firefighters to head down to the World Trade Center because of the proximity. We're about a half a mile away. And from what I'm understanding from people over there, they have really lost a lot of men.
Very sad day for them.
Very sad day. And one other thing that we should maybe point out is there's some folks here. This is the scene that we've seen here all day. People walking around with American flags. Your name is Christine?
Christine, yes. Allison.
And Allison, tell me about this. This is what New Yorkers are patriotic. You're feeling American.
I feel there's a strong sense of nationalism today in the village, and we came down to lend some support to all the volunteers. I personally have 2 friends who are missing in the disaster, and we're just giving every effort that we possibly can.
As a New Yorker, it is just horrific to just look down there and see an empty space. It still has not sunk in.
The loss of life is certainly tremendous. Rob Molinsky tonight, thank you very much. We should point out that Manhattan is starting to come back to normal in terms of traffic. If you're coming in here, some of the bridges are reopening and some of the traffic patterns are starting to resume. Mayor Giuliani also says that tomorrow schools will reopen here, except for the one south of 14th Avenue. And Denise and Al, there's some sad sidebars to this story, many of them. But one that we learned today, very disturbing. Mayor Giuliani says that there have actually been incidents of price gouging. Many folks here in Manhattan are taking advantage of the people who've been displaced and are skyrocketing their prices in stores and things like that. He says the New York City Department of Consumer Affairs will come down on those offenders very hard. It's very sad, isn't it, Denise Snell?
I don't even want to believe that, Dennis.
And he was warning about it. He warned in one of his news conferences yesterday against that very thing.
Well, these situations can bring out the best in people and, unfortunately, sometimes the worst. All right, Dennis House reporting live from New York. We'll check in with you later.